Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is the last part, day two. I want to conclude what I discussed yesterday about um, my discussion about we Africans, about the continent of Africa. And I know some people will not like what I say, of course, because you cannot have everyone agreeing with you. And people are also remember that people are entitled of their opinion. So there is no need to go to in the comment section to come after me personally, but it would be interesting to maybe listen um, carefully about what I say. And if you don't agree with me, it makes sense for me, even if I don't see what I say wrong. But I will just conclude for today because there is a lot to speak about Africans and the continent in general. Um, it's how do you say that? There was a lady, she's from the French Caribbean. She once told us that she cannot stand sub-Saharan African. Okay, to those who don't know who are the sub-Saharan African, it's the African from after the north, so from the west down to the south, all of them, from the north to the south, and the east and the west, um, all of them. Okay, central, all of them except North Africa. I mean, I don't know why she has no issue with North Africa. That's her personal choice. But she clearly said that cannot, she cannot stand sub-Saharan African. First, it seems very hurtful to hear somebody speaking like that about your origins, your race in the way, especially that she's from um, Africa. I mean, she's from the diaspora, African descent, French Caribbean. So she's black. And I don't know if you remember last year, I was saying that they were some French Caribbean who couldn't even want to be around Africans. And the moment they saw them coming in the metro, coming to sit somewhere, they will stand up and leave the place or leave to sit somewhere else. And I say it's very sad that people will act like that. We will act like that among us. But then when she explained, she took time to explain why she cannot stand black Africans, sub-Saharan African. It's because she see that Africans have bad habits. Okay, she has bad habits. No, I mean she say we have bad habits that Africans. It's difficult to be around them, and even the mindset it's very difficult. Um, And I think when you try to, that's why I say don't be in the box always. Try to be out of the box and try to observe. When people complain about something over and over, try to observe from outside of the box. And for some reason, when you think about it, it seems, and I also say, it was very harsh to talk like that. But then when she went on to say, Africans are uncultured people. They are coarse, they are unrefined in the way they do stuff and the way they act, which with time I observe and I say, yes, she's right. It's right. And today, I will say she's very right. Uncultured, and I even say the level of education is very low nowadays, very low. I even say that it's very surprising that at the time when the colonizer, which I didn't like colonization, I don't like it, but at some point I say there is a time where we have to stop complaining about the same thing. me included. I say, and at some point I sat down, and I start thinking and listening to parents, family members who grew up under, who saw the colonization, and who actually entered into the independence. And there is a huge difference the way they behave. And I mean, there are many things. Uh, it looks like people were more educated at the time when the colonizer were there. It's sad to say that. It's sad to admit it today. But then when African took control of countries, you see that people start to behave uncultured. I remember in the late 90s, early 2000, in my own hometown, it stopped. It doesn't happen anymore. But there were a situation trendy that I didn't understand, and I was shocked about it. Some men and women, we go in the street, we stop in the street like that, and start to pee anywhere. Okay, they will pee in the corner, which I can understand if because of obviously you tell me, but if in your city there is no public restroom, I understand, but there is a way to do it. Okay, you can be kind of a little bit more discreet. Some people weren't even discreet. Where car was driving, they will stop right there and pee there. Fathers, mothers doing that. And the one that shocked me the most, I remember that it was a woman who was dressed, but she was dressed up so much. And the scene really shocked me. She stopped, came out of the taxi, and then she stopped. And guess what? She didn't even manage to go somewhere to hide. To hide. You say to hide? She didn't even manage to do that. She was right there where people were walking. She pulled her skirt, with the high heels she had, she started peeing there like an animal. When I saw the scene, I was shocked. Myself as African, I was shocked. So when that woman say, we are not, we are cursed, there is clearly a habit, an horrifying habit. And I will prove that to you. Okay, I will show you a video about what Africans do when they are in Europe. I will take a simple example in Paris. There is an area that we call Chateau Rouge. White people themselves, they don't go there anymore. They can't even, okay? Let's see what happened to Chateau Rouge. We are in France, in Paris, the capital city of love and fashion. This is African. They are selling in the streets the way they want. If you call out this habit, they call you wash out. They call you that you don't like your race. They say you are disrespectful. You don't like your African roots. Okay. This is just an example. There are many examples. And imagine from being from the black diaspora, you see that, you understand that. Okay, wherever African go, they bring this habit, unrefined habit. They refuse to assimilate. They are, and the thing is, they don't even see that it's wrong. They like I said yesterday, there is this pride, this stupid pride that you don't understand. Me, I don't want to be represented like that. I know that there are African who are refined people. Okay, who are well-mannered people. But how many? That habit, I don't want to be represented like that. As an African, no. I think I remember I watched a video, it was an interview, I don't know, where Muhammad Ali, if I'm not wrong, it was Muhammad Ali. He says something that he was happy that his ancestor actually jumped in the ship to go to America, because he say to do what in Africa? Doing what in Africa? You see? It just shows you that there is a problem. There was a lady, a friend of mine, who was trying to preach the gospel in France to some white folks, from French white folks around and so on. And one of the person that she probably knew, I don't know. But one of them told her, you African cannot preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. Not you. Everybody except you. And she was like, what? How can you say that? You say you cannot preach the gospel because you don't have, your heart is too dark. You have no love. You cannot preach the gospel. He told her, I've been in Africa. I was welcome to a host family in Africa, in Benin, the Republic of Benin, where I also grew up there, a part of my life. And it was a very hard experience for me. And that experience really marked me forever. He said that I went there and I saw how the woman who was praying God in a Catholic church, something like that, when she was coming back home, she had a domestic child. I told you that African people don't feel uncomfortable enslaving children. They have a domestic children, labor child. Okay, they don't feel any guilt about that. And that was something that how, as an African myself, that have always shocked me, that in houses, you have children working like slaves. They have no guilt. People were very comfortable, even calling them sometimes slaves, and So he said that I saw how the woman was treating the child. I mean, when he said that, I believe him because I saw it myself. He said, I can never, and she has a big cross on the wall, and she was praying and so on, but the way she was treating the child. You know how God is very protective of children. When it comes to children, the Bible said that they have specific angels that stand continuously in front of the face of God. Imagine you are a woman, and I talked about that last year. I say, I don't understand how African women feel so comfortable, where this culture is coming from. The culture of enslaving children in your home. And I try to go online and search how this system work. How this system work. And I try to understand what it is and how it works. And I have to admit that usually, if I understand, they go to villages and they tell the parents of the children of these villages who are living in these villages that they will bring this child to town. You know that in Africa, town is the end of the world. It's like going to New York City for them, okay? And then the lady say, for example, I will take care of your child and I will send him to school. The moment the lady come to town with the child becomes a slave in the home and never goes to school. For most of them, I mean, at the time they didn't even go to school. They were making them wear clothes, rags clothes. And these are the same people, the same African people who will complain about racism, who will keep talking to you about slavery, who will keep talking to you about how colonizers were awful to them. But the same African people, they don't feel uncomfortable, they feel no guilt of enslaving a child in their home, beating them. And there are many stories. Sometimes they even take some knife, they cut the skin of the child when they are very angry at the child. They cut. And yeah, it makes sense to me. If a white man tell me that you cannot preach the gospel, you African, you cannot, because you have no love, I say it's true. I myself, I say last time in my previous video, I say black people are hateful people. They are. You can get angry about what I say. It's not difficult to see. People who have no compassion for someone who look like them. No, it's not a people who have it's a people who have a certain type of hurt. There is so much to say, and I don't want to hurt, but I think I don't care. I will just say what I observe and why I'm fed up with this dichotomy, this dishonesty and the delusional. I mean, there is so much about us there is a problem. Okay, don't come to me personally. Listen to me. People who feel no guilt enslaving a child. I have a picture I saw last time, a video. It happened in Congo DRC. They were selling children in bags. They were selling children in bags. People have no guilt to mistreat children. It's a special type of people. Okay? I don't say that in the white people world everything is fine, but in their case, it's not everybody who have this situation. Okay, it's some cases. That's why you see that this thing on news, because it's not something that should be common. It's not something common, but for us, the mistreatment of children is very much normal. You have parents, the way they discipline their children is so awful that you even ask yourself how a human can beat, can hit, can torture his own child like that. And it's many cases, it's not isolated cases, it's something very common in Africa. The disappearance of the fathers in home, the how do you say that? The not really, usually you see that last month there was a little girl in Benin, I think Benin in Togo, I think in Benin, if I'm not wrong. They burned her. They put fire under the intimate, the private part of this teenager. Why? Because according to what I read, she stole a cell phone. So for that reason, they beat her, they hit the when I say beating, it's like hitting violently, like whooping violently, beating you physically, and then they tie her on, I think, on a wood, and then they put fire. How you say there are innocent people, those who always say, you say, be careful, okay? There is a lot to talk about. The delusion, okay, they are delusional. They are very delusional. When you tell the truth, when you put the truth in front of Africans, they will deny, they say no. They will refuse the truth. Like when you say, look, our countries are going through serious corruption. Everything starts from the government. Or sometimes you will say, you don't deserve to live in this condition. What you are asking to the government is your right. What you should be doing is to impose your right, because you are the one who vote for this corrupt government. But the same people, they will love the so when you see cases like that, you read things like that, you start watching things like that, you start to think differently little by little. Okay, yes, we are uneducated, we are uncultured, we are coarse in the way we do stuff. You just saw, and it's not only in France. You saw it in UK, you saw it in Italy, in Spain. Same habit. Sometimes they are even aggressive to the people in the countries. They have no respect. And it's not that I'm very clear on something. I like immigration. I'm perfectly fine with immigration. I am myself an immigrant. And I truly believe that immigration can enrich, a country. But being immigrant doesn't give me the right to disrespect the people in the country where I'm coming, because for me, I should be grateful that this country opened door for me. Okay, as an immigrant, I shouldn't be disrespectful from the people. I shouldn't be disrespectful from their religion. Like I see our brothers and sisters who are Muslim, who now are talking anyhow to Christian in the Christian lands, being disrespectful to pastors, when we Christians cannot do the same thing in their countries. Okay, as immigrant, I understand how important it is to be an asset, I don't know, for the country. Now, you have also illegal, undocumented immigrants. So I say it's kind of difficult, because if you have refugee people who are run away from tyranny and maybe a war, you cannot reject them. This is the situation of life or death. But in some cases, you have many cases nowadays from immigrants coming from Africa. It's because it's poverty, and the countries are led by people of leader who don't really care about the people. But the same Africans, when they go to Europe, they will not criticize the country where they left swimming or running or flying like we do. They will not, okay? They will do as if everything was fine there. And then when they are in Europe, they will be criticizing the politics in Europe, the country that welcome them. They will be criticizing them, and they will act as if everything is fine in their own countries. But when you ask them, okay, if everything was fine in your own country, what are you doing here in America? What are you doing here in Europe? They will just say, no. That's the kind of hypocrisy I do not tolerate, and I think it has to stop.